For today's playlist, I want to check out some of my favorite cover songs ever recorded. The first song I want to check out comes from Rage Against the Machine's Renegade album that they put out in 2000, and it was an entire album of covers, but the song I want to check out is their take on Bruce Springsteen's Ghost of Tom Joad. Even within the Springsteen catalog, this song is a little bit unknown, but the treatment that Rage Against the Machine gives it quickly makes it one of the best songs in their catalog. There's a power and an urgency in this that you can't find anywhere else in Rage's recordings, and it's impossible to argue that the combination of Rage's energy and Springsteen's lyrics are nothing short of perfect. You have to check this one out. The next song I want to talk about is Pearl Jam and the track Crazy Mary. Pearl Jam have been playing this song live for years and years and years, and many people incorrectly believe that this is an original song. In truth, it was penned by the great Victoria Williams, and you can hear a number of bands recording it over the years. Pearl Jam actually did a studio recording of this in 1993 for a benefit album that helped raise money for Victoria Williams' medical bills, and over the years, she's joined the band on stage a number of times to perform this song. When it comes to the idea of a band perfectly fitting into a cover song, few are better than this, and it's due to that fact that it's understandable that so many people have assumed over the years that this is a Pearl Jam original when it's not. The last cover song I want to talk about is the Blues Magoos and their take on Never Goin' Back to Georgia. Okay, this is a song I grew up with, and I'll admit really the only reason I'm talking about it is because it's so damn good, I wanted a reason to tell you to listen to it. Because this is one of those gems that's gotten lost in the history of music. The song is actually a slightly adjusted version of Joe Cuba's song El Pito, and the groove and swing that the Blues Magoos bring represents everything that was so great about that Latin-tinged jazzy funk sound of the mid and late 1960s. There's a bit of rock, some jazz, and a whole lot of funk on this one. And while it remains relatively unknown, there's no question it's one of my 2 or 3 favorite covers of all time. I guarantee you're gonna dig it. Jumping over to cover albums, let's talk about Johnny Cash's release, Unchained. When Johnny Cash linked up with Rick Rubin and his American recording label, the fact of the matter is one of the greatest musical pairings in history was birthed. And almost every album that was released as a combination between the two is absolutely amazing. Filled almost entirely with covers and a handful of original selections, Unchained is nothing short of stunning, and what most people don't know is that Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers are actually the backing band on this record. Throughout the album, Johnny Cash covers everyone from Beck to Dean Martin to Roy Clark, as well as doing new arrangements of some of his own older songs. This record also brings Cash's now iconic cover of Soundgarden's Rusty Cage, and without an off moment anywhere, this is an album of covers that everyone should know, own, and treasure. The other cover album I want to talk about is the soundtrack to the movie The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. I remember falling in love with this album the moment I heard it while I was watching the movie, as it consists almost entirely of covers of David Bowie being sung in Portuguese by the great Seu Jorge. There are actually 2 versions available of the soundtrack, as after they released the soundtrack to the film, they released the studio sessions which cover the same songs but are a lot cleaner and more intimate than the other release. Rarely featuring anything more than Jorge and his guitar, he covers everything from Rock and Roll Suicide to Rebel Rebel to Life on Mars, with every single track being more beautiful than the next, and breathing an entirely new life into these classic tracks. This is not to say that the Bowie originals fall short in any way, because they don't, but it's a very rare occasion that any performer can take an entire catalog of another musician and really make it their own. This record is outright beautiful. You have to own it. So there are some great covers for you to track down this week. Actually, to tell you the truth, I tracked them all down for you, and I put links to them in the notes down here so you can listen to them right away. You're welcome. Be sure to check back here every Sunday for more music recommendations, and be here every single day for all the music news, reviews, and knowledge you'll ever need.